Hey Beckham and Wando, I'm Ruth O'Donnell and you're watching East Cooper Student News. On today's show, winter is officially oyster season. We'll show you how one organization is going through hundreds of pounds of oysters for a good cause. Plus, Fisher is back for a special episode of Fish Food. He's got all your favorite tailgating recipes for the big game.
This is a slower pace, but the impact that I have on students can be everlasting, so it's a good thing.
And we'll introduce you to a new school nurse who brings decades of experience to helping students. It all starts right now on ECSN. Thanks for watching ECSN. I'm Ruth O'Donnell. We're back after a week delay from this year's snow. On January 21st, a winter storm rolled through the town and dumped several inches of snow, sleet, and ice in our area. The storm caused us to have 3 e-learning days, followed by a 2-hour delay when we finally were able to get back. Mount Pleasant had roughly 3 inches of snow, but the ice stuck around for several days, causing schools and businesses to shut their doors. We're now about a month into the new semester, and you've probably been talking about one big pretty change at school. When it comes to cell phones, in the fall, we had to have our phones in pouches. But the big change in 2025 is they must be off and out of sight all day long. ECSN reporter Taylor Gunst has student reaction to the new change.
This may look like a regular classroom setting, but actually it's the Wando cafeteria. A big change is the bigger screens you see as students work on their Chromebooks. That's because we can no longer use cell phones at school, period, including during lunch and in between classes.
I understand it for during instructional time, and I get that it's important for students to pay attention in class, but during free time, such as lunch, I don't think that it should be necessary.
Last semester, you could have a phone during class exchange and lunch. But starting in 2025, students must have their phone off and out of sight in a backpack or car. Students' biggest complaint is not being allowed to use it during their free time.
I think you should be able to use your phone during time that isn't class. I think the class thing makes sense because you have to pay attention to the teacher while they're talking. You're not listening to a teacher, you're outside of a classroom, inside a lunchroom.
But that's what the state law says. Students must have their phones off and away during the entire school day. Lunchroom enforcement is new to administrators as well, but Wando Principal Mr. Coker told us in a statement that things are going smoothly. He also said, quote, "There are a few reminders that need to be said during the day, but overall, our students have done a great job and we are proud of the way everyone has stepped up." The cell phone policy is based in the state's budget bill. In order for schools to receive money from the state, they must implement a policy like the one we're seeing now. Reporting for ECSN, I'm Taylor Gunst.
Thanks, Taylor. Many students' favorite thing to do on their phone is scroll on TikTok, but even that was facing a ban earlier this year, and it even went down for about 12 hours. But TikTok is back for now. ECSN reporter Isaac Picard tells us how some of you feel about the potential TikTok ban.
Controversy around America's favorite social media app, TikTok, continues to swirl. The U.S. government officials are concerned that TikTok's parent company could be the Chinese government access to Americans' data. U.S. government officials are concerned that TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, could be used to the Chinese government to access Americans' data. Some have even called TikTok a national security risk, but others, like Wanda Jr., Keely Ross, says that banning the app could open a can of worms.
I think it's very much ridiculous and stupid. I think there are more pressing matters in this country that need to be fixed and not a dancing app. And overall, I feel like if TikTok does get banned, I feel like this will just open the door for the government to ban much more things like books, games, and just simple books, games, TV shows, movies, just things that they don't like, and I think it's a threat to our First Amendment rights.
But others can see the value of the app going away, or at least people using the app less.
Along with a lot of other students have an issue of like scrolling, and it kind of just takes up a lot of time, and I think I would be more productive, but I also think TikTok's like, it's good entertainment, and I'm definitely going to miss that.
There's all sorts of reasons for why the government is making the decisions. I think it's mainly privacy-based, like national security-based, but I think that it could have some benefits for teenagers as well, just mental health-wise.
For now, you can still scroll through TikTok, but a potential ban could start on April 5th. Reporting for ECSN, I'm Isaac Picard.
Thanks, Isaac. President Trump signed an order granting TikTok a 75-day extension before enforcing a ban. Lawmakers want to see ByteDance sell the app to an American buyer. The 75-day extension would end on April 5th. Heading over to Wando, they recently named Mr. Wilkinson the Teacher of the Year. Wilkinson has been teaching at Wando for 20 years, and he's been in charge of the Wando course for 17 years.
It's an incredible feeling. I'm totally surprised. I'm absolutely overwhelmed. I love this school, I love the students, and I love this community. So this is the mission of Wando Chorus has been to create better musicians and better people. And we're going to do that by having fun, but having a comprehensive music education. But I always want my students to become better musicians, better people, and I feel like that's a cyclical pattern that happens every day and every year.
Congratulations to Mr. Wilkinson. And over at the CAS, Ms. Luttrell was named Teacher of the Year. It's her first time being named Teacher of the Year after nearly 30 years of teaching.
I just want to thank everybody, and I'm just glad that I'm here, and it's a huge honor for me to receive this award. So it's really showing that the hard work that I've put in for the last 29 years has paid off on some level.
Ms. Luttrell teaches computer science and engineering classes at the CAS. We have 17 different programs at the CAS, and next year there will be one more. The CAS is starting a criminal justice program, which is designed for students interested in law, public safety, and security. Dr. Brizenchek is excited to lead the new program.
Students can get involved in cops, courts, corrections, and social services. You can serve the community in different capacities. And this is a pathway or a throughway for a number of the different students to get involved in the community to protect and serve, not only as a law enforcement officer, but get the background in the criminal justice system overall. If you're interested in this program, talk with your counselor. If you're already registered, you're a 9th grader, you can go back and change that and register for this program. If you're a sophomore, junior, or senior, you're absolutely welcome to apply. Talk with your counselor, talk with me.
The first course in the program is called Introduction to Law and is open to freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. Before winter break, the CAS collected tons of toys for their annual Toys for Tots drive. Ms. Leland sponsors the drive, and with the help of students like Parker Smith, the CAS collected more than 300 toys. Channel 2 meteorologist Rob Fowler came to collect all the toys and bring them to North Charleston, where they were then sorted and handed to several local families in need. Fowler and Smith say they're overwhelmed with gratitude every year they collect the toys.
So what we try to do, nobody's asking for a handout, they're just asking for a helping hand. And that's what we are, a helping hand.
I enjoy doing it. It's just such a fulfilling thing to see all these toys are going to all these kids that aren't fortunate enough as a lot of us to not have toys, and just knowing that it's going to go to people like that and just know it's going to bring them smiles.
While we're on the topic of the staff at the CAS, Nurse Butler is one of the newest additions, and ECSN reporter Sailor Picaro tells us that she's not your typical school nurse.
Up in the CAS clinic, we have a new face, Rachel Butler, but she's not your typical school nurse. She spent time at the Mayo Clinic and then was in the ICU and head nursing supervisor at Roper St. Francis Hospital. And now she brings her more than 20 years of experience to our school.
I enjoy helping, teaching, educating, nurturing, and I felt like it was a great segue into taking the knowledge that I had in the various backgrounds and transferring it here into the school setting, and just helping educate and care for those that really needed it.
Nurse Butler says she is still getting used to the change from the crazy, fast-paced hospital setting to the more relaxed school clinic. And after years and years of running around the hospital all day long, it can take a toll on you.
After caring for sick people for so long, attending emergencies, seeing so many sad things, but also seeing things that did bring you joy, after a while, you don't want to miss Christmases anymore, you don't want to miss Thanksgivings, etc. So it's just time for a change. And doing school nursing allows me to still love on others, care for others.
And the CAS allows her to care for others, just in a different way.
I think the biggest thing is the joy I would feel from being able to impact a student. Just taking the time to dig a little bit deeper than treating a student with a headache, trying to figure out their why behind it, and then trying to spin some type of educational piece in it to keep them healthy in the future.
For Nurse Butler, it's not just about nursing. The reason behind all her hard work and dedication is taking care of students and teaching them how to better themselves and their health following their visit in the clinic. If you need to see Nurse Butler throughout the day, you can find her in room J201 at the CAS. Reporting for ECSN, I'm Sailor Picaro.
Thanks, Sailor. It's the time of the year for oysters. People love oysters, especially in the South, and they love to celebrate the season with oyster roasts. Addie Burnham went to a local oyster roast to give us the inside scoop.
Because there are some kids, there's like one kid at every oyster roast who will like eat as many as any adult, and I'm like, I think that's awesome when it's like a 5-year-old kid that's just like tearing them up.
It's a bad day to be an oyster if you were at Goldbug Island in the middle of January.
My favorite way to eat an oyster is an oyster roast like this. I prefer them steamed. I do not prefer them raw.
Oyster mascot Shelby is scared to death for his oyster pals, as around 150 people came to chow down on more than 640 pounds of oysters. Thankfully, the Low Country Land Trust has a plan.
So these shells will be recycled straight back into the environment so that little baby oysters called spats have a new place to stick on, like that, and grow.
It's a common theme in January in South Carolina, as we're right around peak oyster season. In fact, we found more than 15 oyster roasts just in our area this month, including Low Country Land Trust oyster roast.
One, I'd say it's a natural way of life here in the Low Country, right? Folks love their oyster roasts, so we want to lean into that. I'd say the second thing is similar to what Bea was saying. This is on a protected property. It's something that is happening in January anyways, so we felt like it was a good tie-in, and we were doing oyster builds for the community. So it just like it hits a lot of the different portions of our mission.
Over the years, the Low Country Land Trust annual nonprofit oyster roast has helped protect over 162,000 acres of land just along the South Carolina coast. And they have enjoyed achieving their mission goals over the years by throwing some of the most popular winter events in the Low Country. Reporting for ECSN, I'm Addie Burnham with Maria Francesca Picone.
Addie and Maria took a poll of people at the oyster roast. Nearly half of people said their favorite way to eat oysters is raw, while 30% said they like them steamed. The fewest people prefer their oysters grilled. While it's peak oyster season, this Sunday is a big day for people who like to eat. And ECSN reporter Fisher Bond joins us to share some of his favorite tailgating recipes ahead of Sunday's big game.
Welcome back to Fish Food. My name's Fisher, and I'm here to teach you how to make the best lineup of snacks for the upcoming Super Bowl. Today I'll show you how to make mozzarella sticks, buffalo chicken dip, and crispy potato skins. Besides Thanksgiving, the Super Bowl is just about the best day for food throughout the entire year. And while I can't make every iconic Super Bowl snack, I'll give you 3 recipes that will for sure be gone by halftime. Let's start with the potato skins. Take your russet potatoes and bake them in the oven at 400 for about 50 minutes. Poke them with a fork to make sure they have cooked all the way through. Next, slice them in half and spoon out the potato flesh. Make sure to leave a small layer around the skin. Then, brush the skin of the potatoes with melted butter and bake in the oven for another 6 minutes. Flip and bake for another 6 minutes. Fill them with shredded cheese and bacon bits. Throw them back in the oven for a couple of minutes until the cheese is melted, and enjoy. Top with chives, which are green, so it's healthy. For the buffalo chicken dip, we have 2 options. Some people like it cold, and normal people like it hot. If you like it cold, you can ignore the last step and enjoy your buffalo chicken ice cream. I digress. Start by combining 4 ounces of cream cheese, 4 ounces of sour cream, and a 1/3 cup of buffalo sauce to an oven-safe bowl. Once thoroughly mixed together, add 10 ounces of shredded cooked chicken, put it in the oven at 400 for 5 minutes or until it's at your desired temperature, and enjoy. For our final, and in my opinion, most delicious Super Bowl classic, we have gooey mozzarella sticks. Start by slicing fresh mozzarella into long strips. Then get 2 bowls. In the first one, crack in 2 eggs, and in the other, add breadcrumbs, oregano, and grated Parmesan. First, dip the cheese in the eggs, and then fully coat them in the breadcrumbs. Once all of them are fully coated, put them in the freezer for an hour or so. After freezing, carefully fry them at 365 for about 40 seconds or until they're golden brown. serve with a marinara sauce, and hide them from me, because I'll eat them all before you get any. Thanks for watching. No matter which team wins, make sure to enjoy the Super Bowl, but not as much as you'll enjoy these potato skins, buffalo chicken dip, and mozzarella sticks.
Thanks, Fisher. That's all we have for today's show. Thanks for joining us for the first show of the year. Signing off for ECSN, I'm Reese O'Donnell. We'll see you next time on ECSN.